Okay.
Oh,
We're on.
you don't need to say okay, Oisin.
There's a great start already.
All right. Anyway, okay, let's start. Okay, so team meeting for the 1st of October 2013 with Oshin, Rob, and Jonathan all attending. All right, so first of our little action items here is for Rob to run through the concept he shared with us the other day on Google Drive. So, if when you're ready there, give us a blast.
Over to me. So basically, the main mechanic of the game that I came up with, I titled it the Split. It's set in the near future, where science has advanced, and it's advanced due to these two incredibly great minds. But they're both in constant competition with each other, trying to one up each other and see who's the best and whatnot. But basically, it's set in the near future. Two great scientists trying to discover the secret to eternal life, both enemies. They work with each other to try and discover this secret, but their experiment goes wrong due to cockiness and arrogance, and they get blinded together. So that gives the player the ability to switch from one doctor to the other. One doctor will have different attributes. One will be strong, one won't be strong, but one will be able to jump bigger heights and so on. And we'll improve the mechanics as we go on. I think you'd have to run through the level to try and find different parts of the broken machine that they broke and put it back together to reverse the actions. So that's what I've got so far.
Right, sounds
Okay.
good. I like the idea.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So let me just run through some of that really quickly for the notes. They go about the machine. What was that about the machine?
I don't. I just it's something that they were working on. You know, some sort of machine that explodes, and that's how they get welded together almost. And you have to find different parts of this machine that came off as it exploded to reverse the actions.
Okay, so the characters are these two great minds that something happened to them in an accident that leads to the gameplay.
Yeah.
Changed by. Okay. So yeah, I know you've already gone over it with us, but can you just go over again the central mechanic with the swapping and stuff, just so we have that written down.
So you play as pretty much one character, but the character will contain two people inside of them, so you'll be able to switch characters, as in shoot a projection of one of the characters outwardly and control that character, while the other one stays static. And you'll be able to swap these characters, so one will have different attributes to the other, and that'll help you solve puzzles and whatnot.
And do you project the character to a different location, or does he appear at the same location?
No, you can almost mouse click the character to a different position if you'd like.
Yeah.
And for this mechanic, we'll go on record to say that we've taken inspiration from the Swapper.
Yeah. Okay. And what was the other game we were looking at then?
Lost Vikings 2.
Lost Vikings.
Yeah. So that's the two main contributors to that mechanic.
Okay. So inspired by Swapper and Lost Vikings 2.
Purely the mechanics only.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even remember what the story was in the Swapper.
I don't think it was a story, but
Lost Viking 2.
Yeah. Will we talk about some of the tasks or jobs we might try and get done before the next meeting, and we can bring it all back to the table?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Well, I've just been thinking over the last day or two about what the first type of things we should go for.
Yeah.
And as you know, I brought I had for my idea for the game, right? When I had it as fleshed out as possible, I always seem to know oh, this is what's happening, this is what's doing, this is what's doing, and you kind of had an idea about it, but you didn't know it as well as I did because it was my idea. Yeah. So, and I can imagine that that I feel like that now with your
Yeah.
idea, Rob, just because it's from your head, like you know it better than anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was thinking maybe if you wanted to like like draw out like the layout of like one or two levels,
Yeah.
like, and we can like visualize it, like how the game can play out. So then when moving forward, we can box model a basic level in the actual engine.
Hmm.
And like while we're sticking with on paper stuff, I could probably um go in depth a bit on the story and like give like fictional locations and like character names and stuff like that.
Yeah. I would think anyway, as far as setting goes, obviously some sort of crazy science lab or some sort, like almost like Dex's laboratories,
Yeah.
underground secret base.
Have you got any
A few.
visual style that you want that you have in mind?
No, not at the moment. I'll have to go into the research of the game.
Here, you know what might be a good idea? You know the mood
Yeah.
board things. The one with all the pictures where you spread it out with the words like, and he said to replace them all with pictures.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe if you do that for your own concept, because then like, but it doesn't have to be exactly the same. Just like some pictures of what it. Yeah, you already did it. Sure, just to expand on it a little bit
Yeah.
and kind of just to give us some more clear ideas of where you're coming from.
Yeah. Will do. So I'll have that done for the next. When we put a deadline on that, I'll probably have
Next
that done.
next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, I suppose. Yeah.
Have that done. Yeah.
Now I think Tuesdays will be like to like we set out objectives on the Tuesday and we bring it all back to the following Tuesday.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as we progress like throughout the course of the project, we'll be given chunkier pieces of work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay.
Tuesday's our group meeting anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
By the way, to the external examiner who's listening to this, I'm pretty sure they won't be all this bad.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anyone's actually gonna take the time to listen to all these. It would take forever.
But if you
But-
do, thank you.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
And maybe
Good
maybe-
job. Very
maybe you
very
might-
thorough job.
in the middle of the summer, if you're listening to this, maybe you have a good chuckle.
Yeah. Doing a very thorough job. Well done. Distinctions.
This,
It's everywhere.
Okay.
We slipped a score in the paperwork.
in the envelope.
Yeah. Okay. So next one is storyboarding the level. Is that kind of what you just said to Rob there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just to like instead like before we move on, like we could have the mechanics down and we could have the story down, and like Rob potentially will be working on the actual mechanics. But when it comes to making the level, if either myself or yourself or Shane
Yeah.
will be doing it, it'll be really difficult to make a level around Rob's mechanics without fully understanding how he feels he wants it to go.
Yeah, you're right. Because we'll both come from different perceptions in our head anyway. So
Yeah.
sound. So the last thing there is digital prototyping. Do we even need to talk about that, or?
I don't know how we go about doing that though in the book. Like,
I guess the first thing we should do is try and switch between two different character controllers.
yeah,
Controlling two different like in-game objects or whatever.
yeah,
If we can just
like at the
get
moment,
that.
even like if we had two cubes, they wouldn't even have to like move once we could move between them
yeah,
and then push forward once that's checked off the list.
yeah. I mean, because once we have that kind of mastered, that's kind of the main crux of the game. Yeah.
Because I was trying to, I don't know, was I talking to you about it today, O'Shane, about
Yeah.
like programming, right? Over the weekend I tried to get a character to just push a cube like into a gap so we could move across the level and stuff.
Yeah.
But I got it to work, but just considering the way Rob wants to have the mechanic where, like, each character will have like different strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do a script to move one object in case it interferes with his overall character controller.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's one thing I think is going to be really hard, is to come up with good weaknesses and strengths for both of the characters.
Yeah.
In terms of making puzzles around that kind of thing.
Well, I was thinking hopefully that as the game progressed, the player would get different attributes as well. Though it wouldn't just be
Yeah.
jump and one can lift. It'd be, I don't know, one can stop time for so much.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do any of that though, so we'd have to really get the prototype out of the way first, I suppose, and then see if we can build on
Yeah.
it.
Well, I mean, if we,
I'd like to point out now, right, and go on record to say that so like going into this game without fully understanding the like particular characteristics of the game, such as like what the different strengths and weaknesses are, would be a fault of all three of
Yeah, definitely.
us together.
yeah,
So we can like make note of that, because towards the end of the cycle, when we have to analyze how the project went, that'll be like really imperative to.
yeah. So say it again. One of the weaknesses would be going into the game without an understanding of what exactly?
Without an understanding of like the characters' strengths and weaknesses.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
they haven't actually been taught out
Yeah.
up to this point. So and like maybe for a week or two, going forward. So like that's
Yeah.
something like that we can look back on and say we might have done that
Yeah.
better,
That's a good point.
because we can't it's not going to be a bed of roses.
Yeah, definitely. And also, from a programming perspective, I definitely don't know right now how to do that. So,
Yeah.
maybe I'll know in a few weeks.
Yeah.
So that would be a good track of progress. Does anyone else know?
No.
No.
Okay, so I'll write down that none of us know how to do this in the programming stage yet.
Like our programming skills are
Same.
minimal.
Okay, grand.
Oh, and because we're like audio recording this, we can put in that we got used to working with some audio software for chopping and changing the files, to cut it down to a certain time and stuff, and cutting out all the crap.
Yeah. Well, digital prototyping is the last thing we've got there.
And are we going to assign specific roles for the game?
I think
don't know.
I think we'd have to wait until we get
Yeah.
to that stage.
I think it's too early.
Yeah, I think so, but I think as well that I don't think specific roles should be kind of applied. I mean,
I agree, but at the same time, they might ask us to give specific roles.
If they do ask us to give specific roles, though, you can have a specific role within a development team, but still give a team member help.
Yeah, sure.
Because if I'm a programmer and Oisin's a 3D modeler, but both of us have particular skills in each set, there's no point really being on a team if you're not gonna help each other.
Yeah. I kind of feel like having a specific job like that is more suited to second term, when there's 7 people on the team.
Yeah, true.
And then it's like, okay, this guy's, we need someone to do just this for 3 weeks because we need loads of assets or whatever.
Yeah, true. And if someone doesn't feel particularly comfortable being solely working on one part of the game, they might feel a bit isolated.
Yeah. So I'm going to put down that we've decided not to elect specific roles yet.
Yeah.
Yes.
So do you just give it a quick rundown on what we have actually decided tonight?
Yeah. Okay. So the notes I've got so far, this is from your run through of your concept. The characters were 2 great minds that were changed somehow by an accident, and their motive is they need to fix some machine to undo something. One character, 2 people inside him, and can project the other to a different location. It's inspired by the Swapper and Lost Viking 2, and the puzzles are formed by playing off the two characters' strengths and weaknesses. The second thing we talked about was tasks for next meeting, where we said Rob was going to elaborate on his mood board and kind of give us the basic level he's got in his head as well. And Jono is going to come up with some story ideas. And nothing for me there. Digital prototype. We need to figure out switching between character controllers. I'm definitely on for tackling that. So, I mean, obviously anybody can try it, but I'm putting my name down there as well. Switching between character controls with just cubes, and also some notes saying we're currently going into the game without any understanding of the character's strengths and weaknesses. We don't know how to do this yet from a programming standpoint, and we've decided not to elect specific team roles yet. That's it.
Nice.
That sounds pretty good, I think.
It's pretty good for, I'd say it's a lot better than anyone else has got, I'd say.
Yeah, I think we might be able to wrap it up at that.
Yeah.
Like officially, like wrap it up.
Yeah. Okay.
So, what
Sweet.
day are we today again? So that's the end of the video for
It's the 1st of October.
1st of October. So that's the end of this video. So I'm going to stop recording now.
Sound.